Hey neighbor, welcome back to ARTV. My name is John, and it's time to review Album 5, Impera, by the Swedish hard rock, arena rock, and metal band Ghost. In the early days of the Ghost discography, it was easy to see that they were inspired more by doom metal and progressive rock with some pop elements, but now Tobias has continued to swing the square hammer in the direction of the 80s, and this album is their most unabashed yet. After Break Hell dropped in 2018, I found myself struggling internally with their ideas and inspiration, because much of it I did enjoy, but it was kind of like sucking on a lollipop that you knew was gonna run out before too long. Going into Album 5, I had heard Hunter's Moon as it was associated with the Halloween soundtrack, and I do enjoy that song. It's very lively. It reminds me of like the 70s going into the 80s. It feels anthemic and catchy without trying too hard. And we also got Call Me Little Sunshine, which definitely had to take some time to grow on me, but I do like the more operatic elements going in the background. It feels like I'm watching a play. Performance is always a big thing with Ghost, so it shouldn't be a surprise that much of this album is very over the top and lavish. It's just that it's going for this side of the 80s that falls a lot more in line with like Hollywood bands like Motley Crue, that brand of rock. Van Halen styled riffs will jump off the page and grab your ear and make you rethink things like, hey, am I listening to Ghost or am I listening to somebody else entirely? And a lot of it can get tedious. On my first listen through the album, I was definitely feeling energized and I felt like Ghost were delivering a lot of hooks, but after that first listen, things started to subside a bit, kind of like a battery that's just slowly running out because you couldn't cop up for the Duracell you had to buy the Dollar Tree brand. I don't really think this album sounds cheap per se. In fact, I like that they brought back the producer of Meliora, which I think is their best work, the pinnacle of their discography. But here, the songs just feel very samey. A lot of the solos, you see the move coming from a mile away. Isolate the 4 tracks, Watcher in the Sky, Spillways, Darkness at the Heart of My Love, and Griftwood, and play them all in a row. I think you'll notice a ton of overlap when it comes to influence, inspiration, even some of the rather cheesy deliveries that we get from Tobias, aka Papa Emeritus IV. If you're a diehard Ghost fan that just so happens to also love the 80s and that brand of like glam metal and hair metal and arena rock that this album is definitely paying homage to in spades, then I think you're gonna walk away very happy, but at the same time maybe wanting a little bit more. And for somebody like me, who prefers the other side of the 80s, like Depeche Mode, Tears for Fears, Joy Division, New Order, over the likes of Motley Crue and Van Halen, then maybe you're feeling a little bit mixed with the amount of cheese that they're laying in there. Impera tends to work out best when Ghost are actually trying to throw some curveballs and kind of shake off the status quo. And I hear that coming out of the opening track into Kaisarion. I love how this one kind of sails on eagle's wings as it kind of sprints to the finish line. Twenties got such a polarizing reaction, but I kind of love how this song worms its way into your heart. It's different, it's nasty in its own way. It draws comparisons to the 1920s to the 2020s, things that are going on now, and the parallels are rather scary, especially given all of the technology that we have now. And the core of this album, it's about empires, the rise and fall, and how history will inevitably repeat itself. It is kind of off-putting in a way, but I love how they're able to reel you back in, and those backing higher-pitched 20s, they just feel crazy. Why does it actually work? Spillways won me over. I love how big the keys sound here. It definitely has an 80s arena rock explosion just waiting for somebody to hit that TNT plunger. It's just so unapologetic in how influenced it is by that style. But the key change, the fact that they just throw all caution to the wind and go for the bombast, it works here. There's a lot of sameness and disappointment and some unnecessary transitions in between, but when we get to the final track that runs for about 6 minutes, Respite on the Spitalfields, I think Ghost actually work out all the kinks and start to feel like themselves again. I feel this album could have been fleshed out more, especially for an album that is supposedly a concept album about the rise and fall of empires. I was intrigued. I think that would have been awesome to go even more in detail too. Impera by Ghost as a full-length album, I don't know if I'm gonna come back to the entire experience all that much, but the songs that I love definitely stand out and have something to offer. I'm gonna give this album a strong 3 out of 5. Be honest with me, I want to know your thoughts on Impera by Ghost. Sound off in the comments section along with any thoughts you had on my review. Please hit that like button, subscribe for the love of music, and if you want to see me do a top 10 on Ghost or maybe rank their albums, then let me know with a comment and a like. And other than that, I'll be back soon for more on ARTV.